and all that good stuff. Hello. Sorry? How can I help you?
Are you vlogging?
I am indeed. Charlie Veitch. Yeah.
Well, why do you look at me like that?
Well, mate, I'm doing a report about Blackburn, and I'm not going to avoid looking at you. You know, I'm a man, you're a man, we're both grown-ups. If I want to point the camera in your general direction, I can and I will. Good morning all. Good morning all the viewers, all the lovers, all the haters, all the Brits, all the Americans, all the Canadians, all the Aussies, all the Germans, all the Irish, and everyone in between. Welcome to Blackburn, one of the more diverse cities here in the United Kingdom, with a very large Islamic population, yet still making everyone walk across the LGTV 4K propaganda. Blackburn is noted for having a cathedral right in the centre with a giant copper oxide tumour or wart pasted onto the side of it as a tribute to modernity. Yet you look around, yes, it's all glass and metal bullshit, it's all bullshit, but at least they haven't toppled the statue of Queen Victoria yet in some sort of 2003 US flag over the face toppling of Saddam, although it might be coming. The bronze lady is holding a copy of the Equal Pay Act, an act to prevent discrimination as regards to terms and conditions of employment between men and women. And now we know what a woman is, so that's good. Let's have a look at this lady. Yeah, she's a tall one. I'm 6'5". 7 foot tall Margaret Thatcher here says, pay me the same as the cock and balls men. Well, for equal work, of equal standard, of equal merit, we should have equal pay. But if the work is not of equal standard, equal merit, then it should be paid accordingly. Is that controversial? Nail salon, gambling, and gambling. Yep, you know it's an area in decline. And also it's coming up to midday on a Friday. We're in the very centre here, there's Blackburn bus station. Where is everyone? I thought the population was growing exponentially, bursting at the seams. I thought immigration was making this country have nowhere to walk. Well, why am I not bumping into anyone? Oh, more gambling. Look at that. Ladbrokes now. Gamble on the horse. Look, daily £5 free bet. Hello, mate. You okay? Cheers, man. It's hope tax, stupidity tax, a tax on your addiction to shiny. The magpie humans cannot help it. They're going to gamble. And again, like other things, if you ban it, it just goes underground. Men and women love a gamble. I don't know why it doesn't appeal to me. Not interested at all. Gambling, what a load of shit. Look at the maths. Are you really going to gamble? Car ramming of Peace Bollard. You going to do it? Exhibit A, the ugliness of modernity. Corporate roundabout art. This one is a giant bronze deconstructed map of Blackburn, been smashed up and fallen to pieces, and in its place a shitty 1970s Torch of Liberty or something. Oh look, more grotesque, shitty corporate roundabout art. More map, more deconstruction, smash up the world, replace it with concrete, make it shitty, make it ugly, destroy the aesthetics, destroy the social capital, destroy the filly ass of the nation. What could possibly go wrong? Well, David Betts, the university professor of warfare at the King's College of the University of London, he says that we are 5 years away from a Latin American style civil war. And I woke up with lofty ambitions. I was going to come to Blackburn. I was going to do a big video. How do we British avoid a civil war? How do we stop it? I do think it can be stopped, but there is no political will to stop it. There is no political bravery to do what needs to be done. So let's have a go. Let's have a go in front of this weird Hellraiser death cube. All it needs is a few spikes and a guy with white makeup on with nails coming out of his face. Hellraiser. Hellraiser! The glory of Britain and the British Empire needs to be taught in school by proud British people, not angry, child-hating, lefty, sandal-wearing, dog-on-string, lefty teachers No, enough of that. Enough of that nonsense, confusing the kids. We need kids of all races, all ethnicities, all religions to be proud to be in Britain. For me, as a half Brazilian, half Scotsman, I can trace my lineage in Britain quite a far way back. It goes into Northumberland, goes into Scotland, countryside people all the way back. My Portuguese ancestors were conquerors, went to Brazil, told the natives, sorry guys, the child sacrifice has to stop now. So yeah, Britain is my personal Zion. This is the promised land for me, as a weird little Brazilian boy, who is also British since birth, being half genetically Scottish. But in schools, all across this wonderful country, we need children to sing the national anthem, the British national anthem, every morning. Maybe American-style indoctrination. Propaganda isn't always a bad thing if you're fighting nihilism, self-hatred, desire for civil war. I don't know. Little kids called Mutembwe from Angola, a kid called Abdul from Pakistan, a kid called Rajesh from India. There's no reason why they can't all be made to feel incredibly proud to have arrived in the greatest country in the world that will slowly make them British and proud, British and amazing, British and a world leader again in everything that we used to be world leaders in. People used to respect Great Britain. They used to fear when the Royal Navy would arrive. When the Chinese tried to impose some trade tariffs on Britain 200 years ago, we just sent the gunships up the Yangtze. I'm not saying we should send the gunships up anyone's Yangtze. We should leave people's Yangtzes alone. But when faced with this, we need to try something new. America, the United States of America, has a much more diverse population in terms of ethnicities and backgrounds than Great Britain. Yet they still see the importance in turning everyone into proud Americans. Yeehaw. Pub called The Sun, and check out what the Blackburnians have to put up with. I can just about recognize those as kingfisher birds. But what the hell is this fetal alcohol syndrome demon with purple hair looking down on us? What is that? And I'm sad that I share a name. My middle name is Torres, with the artist here. Goya, I do not like your weird little fetal alcohol syndrome purple goblin here. You see Cilla Black here? Cilla Black here knows the importance of having babies. Something is happening all across the developed world where we become developed and rich, and for some reason large quantities of us just become infertile. Or maybe not technically, scientifically infertile, but through behaviors and habits, as in the worst habit of all, not having children, then you almost guarantee a civil war in the future. You almost guarantee a demographic change, and these changes are never peaceful. Especially not when certain Abrahamic religions are involved. They're quite unapologetically a conquering warrior ideology. But if every man and woman in Britain had 3 or 4 babies, there should be incentives for that. Then we'd have enough people to maintain this country and to pay into the system so that the elderly wouldn't have to starve and freeze to death. Look at this shithole. Look at this shithole. There's no reason why any city in one of the most prosperous countries on the planet, the country that gave us the biggest empire in the world, and when they say the sun never sets on the British Empire, they didn't mean metaphorically, they meant physically, covering over 1/4 of the world's land surface from Australia to Canada and everything in between. The sun literally never set on the British Empire. This was a time at the peak of the Victorian era when British people had a mission, they had a code, they had something to be proud of at home. So no wonder they were pumping out children. They were excited about the future. They were excited about what their children may become. They were excited that their child might join the East India Company and conquer the Mughal Empire in India or something like that. You never know what they were excited about. But now what are we excited about? Yeah, it's almost like we're all resigned to the fact that our future is going to be death, destruction, civil war, killings, low intensity rural versus urban civil war. And the only way to turn it around is actually to change people, to inspire people, to equip people with the resources to look at Britain's history and say, F yeah, I am proud of that. Everyone was a conqueror back then. Everyone was a bit bad, a bit, you know, a bit colonial. But as that song goes, nobody does it better than the British. And it's no surprise and no coincidence that the liberty-loving Americans descended from the British became the most powerful empire in the world right now. And why should it just be the Americans? We invented the Americans. Why is Blackburn such a shithole? Well, partly the reason is that a very large proportion of the people who live here are on benefits, i.e. welfare, and they don't pay council tax, which is the local tax for bin collection, council services. And again, when more people are suckling at the teat, then there is proteins and carbohydrates filling that teat, then you're going to get a drain. And in this treeless, horrible, brutalist, shitty hellhole here, they even have a giant telescreen inviting you to discover what's on in Blackburn. Well, nothing's on in Blackburn. Not even this big, thick, metal-shafted telescreen pumping out crap to the masses here can turn it around. I'm surprised they're allowed to fly the Union Jack here. Now, yeah, I know it's the Union flag and it's only the Union Jack when it's on a ship, but we all know it colloquially as the Union Jack. And let's have a look at the town hall. Yeah, underutilized. This would be a perfect migrant hotel. Think of the amount of migrants you could slap side of building. Think of the amount of migrants you could fit in this bad boy. And speaking of migrants arriving, you know, up to about 1,000 a day now. I saw a tweet by the Right Honourable Rupert Lowe, formerly of the Reform Party. And he said that 2 days ago, we had a first. We had, I think, 4 days in a row where more than 600 young military-aged men arrived illegally on these shores and were placed into 4-star accommodation. Here's your free £50 HMV voucher. Here's your free mobile phone. Here's your starter pack on how to take advantage of the British benefit system. There is another way. The French have a foreign legion. There is no reason why we can't get these strong-backed young migrants full of energy and vigour into a British foreign legion made up entirely of new arrivals, because it's only fair that if our ancestors, for me on my Scottish side, English Northumberland side, if our ancestors had to sacrifice their children for the freedom of this land in wars abroad, then there's no reason why we can't indoctrinate young men to be a British Foreign Legion. And maybe after a successful 5-year service in the British Foreign Legion, then maybe you may earn the right to become British. But the way we just hand out Britishness like confetti, without any propaganda to make them British, is just eroding the social capital completely. Okay, apart from the lonely Tesla, where is everyone? We're still in the center of Blackburn, and it took my breath away just how ugly this corporate roundabout art is. Look at these, look at that. What an ugly piece of shit. Utterly ugly piece of shit. And someone got paid good money to design that, and other people were paid good money to install it. Like, what? Your trailer for 28 years later. No Cillian Murphy, no zombies, just a virus. Don't know what it is. Maybe woke ideology virus. Maybe the loss of testicular fortitude of the British. But 28 years later, here's your trailer. Don't watch the original trailer. This is all you need. Blackburn. Midday on a Friday. Charlie suddenly realized. Today is prayer day for the Muslim community. They get dressed in their traditional prayer attire and they all go to the mosque. That may explain, because the demographics here is very Muslim. Empty landscape. Where is everyone? Here's one of the council buildings for Blackburn and Darwin local council. Again, 28 weeks later, where's everyone? I just had to look online. The local member of parliament here who won last summer is a young guy. He's a young 35-year-old called Adnan Hussein, who is an independent who campaigned on a Gaza ticket, and it almost guaranteed him all the Muslim votes, most of the Muslim votes here, and of course he won by a good strong margin. But he himself is a controversial figure. You might think, oh, how wonderful. An educated, university-educated young Muslim man going to represent the people in his constituency. But turns out he was filmed at a thing in 2014, a speech at Hyde Park in London, the big park in London. And he said, and I quote, he said that America and Israel are just as terrorist as ISIS. Now, it's an interesting soundbite, but again, it's terrifying that a man can win an election by equating the most successful democracy and the only Jewish state as identical to a neo-fascist death cult that took great delight in beheading people on camera. Adnan, what were you thinking, my friend? What were you thinking? Anyway, what have you done for Blackburn? What have you done? Have you have you repopulated it, or is it still 28 weeks later? We're in the university district now, or college district anyway. Blackburn, Beacon, what does that say? It says Beacon Centre at Blackburn College. Let's see if I can get you guys to zoom in so you can have a look yourself. Beacon Centre, Blackburn College. Now, speaking of Israel and America, I've been thinking a lot about Muslim integration into both American society and into Israeli society. You may not believe this, but it's true. There are Muslim members of parliament in Israel. There are Muslim judges in Israel. There are members of the Israeli Defense Forces who are Muslim. And what is clear is that these specific Muslims very much manage to reconcile their Islamic identity with their nationality in, say, America or Israel. Because Tony Blair in 1997, our Prime Minister, made it okay to have multiculturalism, which is like, just move here, don't assimilate, keep your own culture. Even if you're escaping as a refugee from a bad culture, just keep it. Nothing bad's going to happen. Everything I was saying before, it needs to begin now. In 13 years, if you start with 5-year-olds, within 13 years, you could have a bunch of 18-year-olds. I like the Mustang. You could have a lot of 18-year-olds very proud to be British. I came to try and investigate the tallest building in Blackburn, but it's not doing so well. Well, if it isn't a bombed out, burnt down church that's not been redeveloped for decades. And now the beautiful skyscraper, the Chrysler building of Blackburn, the beautiful Art Deco Empire State Tower block is officially shut down, and the sign went on to say, all power and water has been shut off, so don't bother squatting in here, you dirty hippies. Even Blackburn Central Police Station looks tired and run down. And I wonder if they're going to follow the footsteps of West Yorkshire Police in their racist to white people hiring policies. They call it positive discrimination, but let's just break down the fact. The recruitment people single out one race only, whites. And they say that everyone else can apply ahead of whites. And once they fill their quotas of non-whites, then, and only then, will those white people be allowed to apply. Now, reverse racism is still racism. If you get a racist act point a mirror at it, that image is still racist. One thing I will say for the Lancashire PD is that they have the nicest blue of all the blues in the police cars in Britain. This slightly darker blue goes very well with that shock tennis ball colour. Who's that? Is that? No, that's not. That's just I don't know what that is. I'm not going to zoom in. Don't want to. Oh, it is police. It is police. I thought it was PCSO. It is police. It's a real police. PCSO, Charlie. What's that? Those are civilians in police attire called Police Community Support Officers. Sounds like something from the Soviet Union or out of one of Orwell's novels. Thought Community Patrol Officer. Hate Crime Liaison Specialist. Police Community. The word community, there is no community. I'm in central Blackburn. There's the mall. There's the police station. And let me just turn the camera around. I'm sure this is what Nagasaki looked a bit like after the Americans were done with it. It's a big, wide open spaces where there used to be houses. Empty. Another way Britain has allowed towns which aren't very far from major cities, like Blackburn is only a 40-minute drive to Manchester. But another way that this country has wrecked the regional areas is by not having high-speed rail or even fast motorways between these cities. And so you'd think that people struggling to afford the extortionate rents and house prices in Manchester, which are getting a bit ridiculous, you'd think they'd be like, yeah, I'll move to Blackburn. It's only a 40-minute drive. But they don't, because, I mean, look at it. Would you want to live here? Would you want to bring up your little sprogs here, your most prized possessions, your little beautiful children? You know, where at any moment anyone could get really angry and there's glass weaponry everywhere that could act as a club or a knife if you smash it. Look at it, look at it, look at it, look at it. It's not as bad as Birmingham, but it's getting there. Look at it. This is it inside the train station. Sorry, bus station. You've got pigeons literally eating rice off the ground here. Look. Look at that. Pigeon poo. So go and help yourself to that rice. Looks really nice. And just litter everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Like real third world vibes here. Real third world vibes. We're here in the church alleyway. And a popular pastime in Great Britain is people saying, "Ah, such and such is a grass." And here's a slightly more menacing one. "Dead men tell no tales." I feel menaced, suitably menaced. Coconut, a nut masquerading as a fruit, famously known for being brown on the outside, yet white on the inside. Welcome to Blackburn train station. Built in the Victorian era, no doubt. And now it's, well, it's a way to get to Manchester, but maybe not the best way. Or maybe it is the best way, but again, there's no high-speed trains here. And there's a charity in there telling me to be nice to birds. Be nice to the birds. I was just chatting to a very friendly Northern Railwayman. Highwayman, no, Railwayman. And he tells me that this is the best way to get to Manchester. And it's 50 minutes, just under 1 hour, to get from a relatively close city into the major city, which is Manchester. Now, an hour commute either way, and that's not taking into account delays, will put off a lot of commuters from moving to Blackburn, because Manchester is getting a bit pricey. So we're right next to the train station. You've got your new building here with a business called the Fire Pit. You got your Premier Inn with the outdated propaganda flag now. But you'd think, oh wow, this is prime real estate. Look, right in the city centre. And then you're like, oh, it's abandoned. Chipboard to stop squatters again. Across the road, walking away, there's an absolute crazy man. He was acting crazy, sat outside Blackburn train station, properly going nuts, and now he's on the phone. He's chatting away on the phone, and that amazes me that a crazy person can not only have a mobile phone with an active SIM card, but that he remembers to charge it. What does it all mean? So I found the underground brutalist stream here, and it's quite scary. But do not fear. The Golden Temple is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. The Golden Temple of the Blackburn Youth Zone. Look at that. My lord. So the more youth zones you put in a inner city, the less stabbings there are. That's what the government tell us. So a stone throw from the train station, you've got here the Blakewater Hotel. It's maybe seen better days. But I want to show you the inside. A little time warp. Look at that. Look at that vase. Anyway, look at that. There you go. Is that the safe? But it has seen better days. I think maybe we might get an idea of the better days down there. Not really. Ah, the beautiful, the beautiful Blackburn River, with now with polystyrene chip carton. Where is it? There he is. Look at that. Here's the Blackburn Youth Zone, branded as Fuse Box. Fuse Box for all you budding electricians. And funnily enough, there is an electrical substation right here. With danger of death. You gotta love a danger of death. Anyway, first time I've seen this. When you've got an old Victorian steel girder and you take out the W, then you've got Orcs. Orcs 02. And then you come across on the side of the youth zone, the graffiti artist has given us a demon, a little furry demon with a square head and a house growing out of his back. And his little regal child is saying, please. What the hell was that? What was that? Was that against me? No. He was saying, please, mother, give me some attention. What the hell is that thing meant to be? So, yeah. Big loud metal noise from somewhere around here. Premier Inn guests, 3 hours, free parking, registration required, Blackburn Youth Zone. As I approached this one, I was like, that might be the ugliest building in Blackburn. There's the train station, just to give you context. And of course it's a 1960s British Telecom telephone exchange. They've got a monopoly on the ugliest buildings in every city in England. Maybe even in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland as well, but I'm not sure. But these BT buildings are proper horror shows. And they must still, they must still have a lot of iron. Not iron, Charlie, get your elements right. They must still have a lot of copper, because look at these little sharp, rusty nails and these spinning things on the fence. If you try to, if you want to go and liberate some copper, you're probably going to get tetanus and get disemboweled for your efforts. And it's not just that one. Every single spinner here has a rusty nail on it. Outside the Vic pub, there's a mobility scooter. Every pub in England has a mobility scooter outside. This one's probably provided for free by Green Power. Anyway, how's my driving? 0800 FU. Rob, how are you?
Oh, I'm not bad, Charlie. How are you, big man?
I'm very well, thank you. It's nice to meet a fellow Scot.
Welcome back to Blackburn.
Welcome to Blackburn. So do you live...
It's a pleasure to meet you, big fan.
Yeah, thank you very much. Do you live here in Blackburn?
I do. I live just up the road from here.
Yeah, and is it as bad as everyone says, or is it alright?
It's not as bad as what it used to be. It's a lot better now.
Yeah.
What the thing is, everybody's gone on about diversity and all that. There's nothing like that in Blackburn. You know what I mean? We're all 50-50 here.
Yeah.
You know, you get all the Asian fellas, I know quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And they even stop and give me a lift home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From staggering home, you know, from the pub, you know.
Fair enough.
Script, you know. And I seen a couple of Asians having an argument one day. I was walking past one and asked for my help.
Really? Against the other Asian? Oh, there you go. So a lot of people are saying that within 5 years in this country there might be a civil war between Islam and the natives. Or did you get that vibe at all, or is it?
I wouldn't say here in Blackburn personally. Maybe other places in the UK, like the big cities like London, Birmingham, Manchester, and all that kind of thing. But the wee towns like here, or Preston even, well, Preston's a city now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say so. You know what I mean? Because we've got big universities here, Preston, Lancaster. Yeah. So I think it's people's biased opinions of what they want to see happen. I mean, to sound where Tommy Robertson, for instance,
yeah,
being a political prisoner, I don't agree with that.
No, I know, it's horrible.
I mean,
isn't it?
why?
I know, it's ridiculous.
You can say something on Facebook, I can say something, I must see you doing in jail.
I know that. Well, Rob, we better wind it up before I commit a hate crime. Yeah, before you accidentally do a vocal cord violation that the government might not like.
Well, yeah, I know. I've got to watch what I'm doing.
And I just want to say thank you very much as well, Rob. Nice to meet you.
And you, Charlie.
See this blue car behind me? A Skoda Octavia VRS, the kind of fast Skoda. I've got PTSD seeing those bad boys, because on the M58 exiting Liverpool a couple of years ago, I was in the BMW and I was doing about 90, 95. Past that guy, he was in the middle lane. I'm like, and what does he do? He overtakes me, puts on the police follow me sign. I got my first ever pulling over. Ever, my whole life, driving for 25 years, now 27 years. And £100 fine for speeding. BBC Radio Lancashire, that's the county we're in. And let's not forget, it was BBC money that made the propaganda show Adolescence on Netflix, that everyone at the BBC is trying to shame politicians for not watching a fictional show about a prepubescent, and he was prepubescent, 13-year-old boy who, let's not even go there. This is where they pump out the shite, the lies, the propaganda, the bad propaganda. Propaganda isn't always bad if it's for a good purpose, as in to make Britain great again and to assimilate people into British values. Good propaganda. What they pump out is diarrhea, bile, and a lot of horse shit. Surely inside Blackburn Cathedral I'll get some hope and glory about Britannia and the wonderful Christian nation we're in. Surely in here I'll not get shocked by modernity and wokeism. There's a woman priest. Didn't want to offend the woman priest, but I wanted to show you, as I've shown previous Blackburn cveitch video viewers, they have the 12 steps of the mocking of Christ, and they've turned them into a blood-soaked demon. And I'm not even joking. They've got this red demon covered in cuts and bruises that represents Christ, and it's demonic. And when you're in there and you want some nice oldie England and it's all demonic, you're like, well, I bet his kids loved it anyway. So just to give the viewers context, there's a guy here driving this amazing RC car, and there was a guy just behind us, I missed it, he goes, drive that near me and I'll smash it. Like, look at that. Look at that, accelerator, it took off. Almost went into orbit. My God.
And the last one, that's not on full speed. It's too quick. Look, that's on the lowest speed setting.
What happens if we put it on the top speed setting? Would it just go into orbit? Too much torque.
Yeah.
Hello guys, you alright? Oh, nice one. Cheers, you okay? Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I will do. Thank you very much. Right. Okay, here we go, here we go. Let's get. Look at that. Who needs flying drones? Look, oh my, wow. That thing will do 60 miles an hour easy.
50.
50. My God, look at it go. I remember when I was 11 years old, my late father got me a remote control car. Not as good as that one for Christmas. And I was the happiest kid in all the Scottish borders. Okay, we're back in the main square. I really want to get to there. I want to get to the base of this abandoned tower block, stumpy tower block. And I think my way up seems to be a car park. I hear some distant. We'll investigate that in a minute. We're gonna see if we can get up to the abandoned. It must be up here. Yeah. I figured that out all by myself because I am a big boy. Let's have a look. Woo! It's a car park as well. This is better than where I'm parked. God damn. But I just want to see what they say here. At the foot of the Blackburn Chrysler building. Let's see what we've got. It's brutalism as far as the eye can see over here. Oof. Oof. And of course, like Manchester, they love the industrious bee. The bee, which is a genetic stunted clone of the one true bee, which is the queen, and all these other worker drones are stunted beta, gamma, delta bees, whose job is to be slaves and then die. No wonder the elites like the bee as the symbol, so that they can remind the working classes what their job is to do. Tower block closed, all heating, power and services have been switched off. Yes. But that's lies, because I can see light in there. I can literally see light through the double doors. Can you see lights in there? They're lying. So I took one wrong turn and I am literally in hell now. Not Hellman, this is worse. No, it's not Birmingham. I know Birmingham's worse than the Hellman province, but no, I'm on top of the Blackburn Mall. And what are those little towers I see in the distance? They're, oh, minarets. 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 And I try and escape. Escape Alcatraz. Brutal Traz. Brutal Traz. Here's the main atrium of the Blackburn Mall, and I wanted to show you the anachronistic Blackburn Market downstairs, but you're not allowed, and it's looking quite scary. Looking very 28 days later, 28 weeks later, 28 years later. I wanted to get some cheap fried chicken from the market, but not allowed. The best I can do is show you the symbol there, again with the triple Bs. Know your job, you stunted drone. Tell you what's really sad about Blackburn is that there's this big mall in the city centre, which is this structure here. And because of the crackheadery and street drinkers and so forth, all the businesses... Sorry? No, I wasn't talking about you, mate. Yeah, all good, all good. So because of... Well, not out here, in Manchester and other places. How you doing anyway, Charlie?
Sorry.
Yeah.
But why you look at me like that?
Well, mate, I'm doing a report about Blackburn, and I'm not going to avoid looking at you. You know, I'm a man, you're a man, we're both grown-ups. If I want to point the camera in your general direction, I can and I will.
Put that in the general direction.
But what if they're all Rangers fans, my viewers? What if they're all Rangers fans, mate?
We're Celtic, we're number one.
Fair enough. The shoulder bump was a bit too aggressive, but cool, man. Anyway, as I was saying, because of the atmosphere, the environment on the street, there are no cafes, coffee shops, posh businesses, anything, except inside the mall. Now, just to give you an idea, again, look at this beautiful Lloyd's building here. Right next to it, that building there is never going to rent out again. No one is going to want to move to Blackburn to start a business on the mean crackhead streets. And our Celtic friend here, he is street drinking, which again will mean less people want to have a business here. Well, order number 97, not 007, not 001, not 069, 97. And my double espresso here, I didn't think it went this cheap. It's £1.39, whereas everywhere else the McDonald's double espresso was £1.49. So thank you, Blackburn, for your shekel-saving macas. Les double espresso de McDonald's. The poor man's cocaine or the poor man's Adderall? Cheers. Cheers. The very kind Blackburnian said that, do you want a photo posing outside your favourite restaurant with your favourite Italian coffee brand? Oh, look at that. This is the Italian Riviera here. This is the Caribbean. Why spend money going to Spain, sir, when you can come to Blackburn? Look, the sun's coming out. They've got a Macca's. And they've got an amazing lady filming as well. Thank you, madam.
You're welcome, very welcome.
So I've been here for about 2 hours and I'm noticing trends. That it's eerie in the day, and even the teddy bears are homeless here and begging with their little cups. Like what? That is like a Sasquatch or a Yeti, and even the Yeti is homeless and cracked out and living in a doorway. next to his cannabis leaflets. Yeti should be back in the Himalayas having a great time, not begging, drugged out of his mind in a little doorway in an abandoned street here in Blackburn. Not even the car ramming of peace barriers are any good here. Look at that. Useless. Useless. Wouldn't stop a bicycle. That one's been knocked over. Look. Here on Corporation Street, the chippery has gone bust. Served its last chip many years ago. Battered its last haddock a decade ago. It's now an advert for the Bollywood and Bhangra. From India, I'd imagine. So what's going on in there? Nothing. There's men sitting there. That's embarrassing. There were men sat there looking at me. Right. Quick turn away. Point the camera around a little bit more. Pretend you... Who's shouting at me? Hello! How are you? White car man. Thank you, sir. Connect 4. Don't think anyone's connecting anything here, although you've got your Amazonian Unami tribe with interesting fertility tattoo on her neck, serving up a fish and chips to some fetal alcohol syndrome child again. But see, that's modern art, that is. And the fact that she's serving up a fish and chips in an abandoned chippy, that's an insult, that is. Insulto! And there's a look back up the hill. They've tried to make that apartment look a little bit different. Some big windows, interesting roof. But I do notice the incredible CCTV, the incredible cameras everywhere, keeping a close eye on us all, making sure we don't fart out a hate crime or whatever. So it's only a matter of time in any British city centre until the police come out. There's that Celtic fan that just passed us. So what is the incident here? What are they looking at here? Nothing. They've switched off the blue lights and off they go. They're like, well, leave the public to it, eh? The police are thinking, you know, we could police law and order in Blackburn, but it's kind of like rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. There is a feeling here in Blackburn that when a building in the city centre goes bust and the business moves out and it is open to rent, or to let if you prefer, there's a feeling that this building will never be occupied again. This is the collapse. This is the decay. This is the end of the positivism and confidence of Western capitalism. The wokies and the lefties poisoned it all because apparently being powerful, successful and rich was discriminatory to those who aren't. My voice broke there. That's how emotional I am. To those who aren't. Let's see how the Grove pub is doing. Oh, it's gone bust and it's closed. Let's have a look inside. Let's see what we've got. Go wide angle. Can I see anything? No. No. Okay, wait for the police car reveal. Oh, I thought he was stopping for some law and order. It's a pedestrian crossing. God damn. Oh, I'm curious. I want to see what's behind. Why have they covered up some of this fence? This gate. Why the paneling? Oh, that's why. Okay, I get it now. The light at the end of the tunnel, unfortunately, is daytime Blackburn. I call this piece the descending trolleys of Blackburn Morrisons. Here we go. Here's the excitement. Hey mate, you okay? That is beautiful. It's like a work of art. Okay viewers, we're gonna go and have a look. Before we do, look at this gate to Corporation Park, just on the outskirts of central Blackburn. And we're going to go that way, down Preston New Road, because the biggest and most expensive mosque, a £5 million construction, is currently being built. They may have finished it. Let's go and investigate. So here on Bilingi Avenue, you've got your Sacred Heart Church, and it appears to be Catholic. It's got a Catholic vibe going on. In brick, across the road, you've got a very big boy. You've got some, I think, Church of England parish church, and it's massive. And you'll never guess what they've built 200 yards over there, guys. You'll never guess. Now, I felt it was quite churchy. Here we go, St. Silas Parish Church, Blackburn. Church of Angleterre, Church of England, and it's big. And you just know it'll be quite nice inside. But anyway, oh, I do like cherry blossoms on this Good Friday. And in fact, happy Good Friday to all my Easter celebrating friends, all the Christians, all the cultural Christians, and all the Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs, everyone else, Jews, who doesn't mind wishing us a happy Easter, a happy Good Friday. And anyway, so there's St. Silas with the cherry blossoms on Easter. And we're going to keep it rolling because we're almost there, ladies and gentlemen. We pass Old Stumper. That there, that's a nice house. That's probably the rector's house, the priest's house. Don't know why a priest would need a big house if... Oh no, they're allowed to marry in the Church of England, I think. They're allowed to... Yeah, there you go, the vicarage for the vicar. I called it. I knew it and I called it. You've got Springfield Care Home here. New Springfield Care Home. There's an old abandoned one down the hill over there. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the what appears to be still under construction, the new £5 million mosque paid for by the Isa Foundations. There's a couple of brothers, I think they fell out, but they own Asda and a few other brands. They are billionaires, and they have kindly donated £5 million to construct the biggest mosque in Blackburn. Let's have a look. Seems like it's going on already. There's lots of people parking up. Yeah, it's big. It is a big mosque. Now I'm going to show you guys a bit more, and then I'm going to give you guys the concluding remarks, concluding thoughts about my trip to Blackburn today and what I have learnt about civil war, British Muslims, assimilation, potential sectarianism, and all that good stuff. Hello. Sorry? How can I help you?
Are you vlogging?
I am indeed. Charlie Veitch. I'll say hello. Nice to meet you, Charlie Veitch. I'm just discussing, I'll tell you the subject. I'm talking about how we can prevent a civil war in this country by making Muslims and Christians get on, celebrate Britain together. I think they should... Charlie, you all right? Hello. Thanks, mate. Thanks for watching. Thanks. Name's Charlie Veitch. So I'm just doing a story.
How do you think people can work together?
Well,
Is it possible?
yes, 100%. Muslims have fought in the British Army for hundreds of years. We've had Muslims in the British Empire for hundreds of years. We need, I think, and maybe you would agree, you look like a successful man driving a nice car. Britain's clearly been good for you. 100%. So do you consider yourself a British Muslim? There you go. We need to train everyone in schools to remember you can be both Muslim and British. British is an idea. It's not a religion. It's just a country. So you can be a proud Muslim, proud British person. Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate your thoughts. The name's Charlie Veitch. Thanks, mate. All the best to you. Cheers, dude. Just over 500,000.
Oh, wow.
I know. I'll get to 1 million before I retire and die. But
Could you put me into your vlog then?
I could. Yeah, of course.
Hi, my name's Hamza. Subscribe to Charlie Veitch's YouTube channel. Let's get him to 1 million before he dies.
Thank you, Hamza. I really appreciate that.
Take care, Charlie.
God bless
Thank
you, man.
very
All the
much.
best. Take care, man.
Do you want anything to eat or anything? I can get you some food or something.
Oh, I'm good. I've just
Sure.
eaten. Thank you so much, Hamza.
Food spots there I can take you, no problem.
I'm okay. I've got to get back, but thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. God bless, mate. See you later. There you go. Let's get our concluding remarks going. Massive thank you to Hamza in the car, and it was a very nice car. The man agreed. You can be British and Muslim. And this is what I'm trying to say in this video. There's no need for us all who are, let's be honest, all these problems started 4,000 years ago in the Middle East when they decided that there was one true God. His name was Abraham. Sorry, the founding father of that movement was Abraham. His name was Yahweh. God. And what I'm saying is, look, Muslims in Britain clearly have a mission. They are vigorous. They have energy. They believe in the future. They listen to the Old Testament when it says, go forth and multiply. Whereas the rest of us Brits, we're like, oh, I live in a 2-bedroom house. I can't have more than one child. I can't afford to have like 5 kids. Do you think the Muslims worry about that? No. Their creator said, go forth, multiply, make the whole world Muslim. And there's nothing stopping Christians as well to rediscover that vigor, that inner strength in your heart. There is nothing stopping you creating a mega church, a beautiful mega church, having really inspiring sermons, getting young people to repopulate this country. Look at our bloody birth rate. It's something like 1 child for every 2 people. Within 1 generation, you've cut the population in half. And like I say, you know, who dares wins. Who dares wins. If you want to have a wonderful country, you need to have a set of bollocks. You need to be more of a warrior. And if there's things we can learn from other religions, it is, don't be a pussy. Look at that. Look at that. Why can't you do that? This is Charlie Veitch, proud Catholic on Good Friday, saying we can all get along, we can cancel the Civil War, and we can learn from people who are busy with a mission. What's your mission? What are you doing? These people know exactly what they're doing. And unless we relearn to be proud British people that gave the world everything, democracy, freedom, liberty, there's a reason why so many people want to move here. It is still one of the greatest countries on earth. This is Charlie Veitch, outside the Blackburn Big Mosque. Thank you very much for watching.